And we're live. There it is. Hello, everybody. This is welcome to what's the whole name? The Future Podcast, Pre Alpha, Episode 1. Jesse.
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah, this
We out here
podcast.
trying to
Yep.
get this podcast going, see how it goes.
Uh huh. And I got to thank Jesse because this podcast really wouldn't be here at the quality it is, even though it's not the best. But we still got our mic set up. I'm not using some kind of super cheap mic or anything. We don't have any interference with the Wi-Fi because that was an issue the other day, just yesterday. My laptop doesn't work for some reason with the mic, so we set it up at a different location. I'm actually at my mom's crib, and he has his mic going on, his little Blue Yeti. So, and we picked this one, Google Hangouts, over, let's say, Discord or anything, because I didn't have a separate capture card for this, so I chose this one.
It's a work in progress, guys. We're
Has
working on
evolved
it.
to be. It is a work in progress, and I gotta thank Jesse for being there because he was the testing man. He tested it out, and then we were bouncing the ideas off of what could be the problem, the issue. I mostly had everything solved for myself, but I'm glad he picked up the calls late at night when I was calling him and didn't even tell him, but he picked it up and was like, "Oh, you sound fine, bro. You're okay." And so I gotta thank him for the creation of the future
No,
podcast.
this is the same thing. I just walked it down. Is that bad?
So if this ever succeeds, Jesse, like succeeds or even like becomes stardom, I gotta thank you, man. You'll probably be an unsung hero. I gotta thank you. But if it ever fails, if I like actually legit try to go for it in any type of way and it fails, then I gotta blame me. That's all on me.
Hey, but we started. That's the first step
We
of the.
started and we're doing episode 1, even
That's
though
the first
we're
step in the
tired
staircase.
and we've been trying and we tried 2 days ago, yesterday, and today is the actual day. We were supposed to start 2 days ago, but hey, at least we didn't postpone it another week or so. Even though if we ever look back on this, like, oh man, a week is nothing. We've been through 100 episodes or something, and
Yeah,
nothing crazy.
better late than never, right?
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah, better late than never. I'm glad I didn't give up on this because I could have gave up and been like, man, these microphone problems are too hard. Or I could have just stopped at my laptop and said, man, my shit doesn't work, my audio interface doesn't work, my mic doesn't work. I don't have another computer. But no, I actually was like, wait a minute, my mom has a computer.
We
And I
stuck it
tried to
through, man. We stuck it through.
yeah, and I tried to figure it out, the problems. And then we realized that the Wi-Fi was the problem on one of the mic quality on my mic that I'm using right now. It messed with the mic quality. If the Wi-Fi was on and it got too close, there was a little like running noise, like running tapping noise that I didn't. For the life of me, I couldn't figure it out until I turned off the Wi-Fi. I didn't know the Wi-Fi interfered with like these analog setups, which was weird and frustrating. So I have it off right now, and you don't hear the clicks, right? The
No, I don't hear the clicks. It's all good now.
good. So this is it, and what are we gonna talk about? What's our subject? What's our topic? Should I say what the future podcast is about? I gotta get my thoughts together. I gotta collect my thoughts. And I know that the chairs are squeaking and everything. It's a work in progress, guys. It's a work in progress. So the future podcast. After these pre-alpha episodes are only to be like starting up a podcast, and because I knew like realistically, kind of. I hope I'm not shooting myself in the foot. Like if I started the first episode with the person I wanted to bring, Elliot Holes, I knew I wasn't gonna be like, oh, I'm already comfortable with the podcast. I already know how it's gonna be. If any problems were gonna be set up, or I can figure that out on like the first try. So
Yeah.
I wanted to have like pre-alpha episodes to be like, okay, if my mic quality was low on one of them or too high on the other, or Jesse's and I were not balanced enough, like I was higher than Jesse or Jesse was too higher than me, and to be thrown off, or if we got into any technical problems to fix it, like my microphone. If I had any microphone problems on the day of that interview, I would have not known how to fix it at all. Any issue.
That'd be a bad start.
Yeah, to not only the interviewee, but the interviewer like me, it'll be a really bad start. Shoot down my credibility. And so I want to start up some, maybe 10 episodes, 10, 12 episodes to get comfortable with it. Is that
We can make
reasonable?
that happen.
You think that's reasonable?
That's very reasonable.
Okay.
That's a mini goal that's been set right there. 10
12
episodes.
episodes. So I gotta write that down on my notepad or something, or I'll keep it as a mental note. 10, 12 episodes, maybe 25, 25, 50. No, 50 is excessive now. Unless like I really like doing this, and I'm enjoying it now. Like I'm enjoying it now. I'm excited. I'm happy.
You never know.
We're starting. We're actually like doing something and starting something up. Cause I told them when starting it, I said I want to build an empire. Said it like that. And here it is. Here's the start, guys. So if any scramblers, the 50 views or even less, maybe 1 view, and that's probably for me. The views we're gonna have so little. This is gonna be so like in the past, but you're like hearing our first episodes. Sometimes when I like a YouTuber and everything, or just see like really big, famous, popular people, I'm like, what are their first days like? What's their first YouTube video?
Yeah, like what? How were they before they are now? Like,
Yeah, not only personality, but the quality of their content, the camera they used to record back then when they first started out, how they talked, how awkward they were or weren't, how young they sounded. Like even musicians or singers now, that artists that post music, I'm like, what are their first songs? And John Bellion's first songs, I listened to his first song, his actual first song called "Hear Me Out." It was on YouTube. I think they took it down. I think John Bellion and his crew took it down.
oh dang,
Yeah, you can't find it on YouTube anymore.
gotta find it somewhere else or what?
Yeah, you can find it online. You can find it on SoundCloud. They didn't
Oh,
take it down
okay.
on SoundCloud. I'm not sure if they even can, or they just didn't care to look in SoundCloud. But you can find it online easily. That was he's 27 or so now. But that was a song he made like 10 years ago. Like he was 16 or 17.
Wow, that's interesting.
18 at the most, but I believe he was 17 or so. 17, 16. And it's a good song. I like it. But he's a phenomenal artist. He's a great artist.
Yeah, I like his music.
Oh, yeah, huh? You know about John Bellion.
Yeah, yeah. You showed me him. You introduced me to him.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
I thought you knew of All Time Low before
Well, I just knew about the song, but I don't know about John. Like,
oh, his album, like The Human
yeah,
Condition. Yeah, Jessy likes his album, The Human Condition, his most recent album. 2016 album, it was 2 years ago. I'm surprised he hasn't. Well, he said things about his album, his newer album that's coming. It hasn't gotten a release date or anything. It's October 1st, 12:20 a.m. right now. For you
yeah.
guys listening, like in 5 years in the future, and being like, oh, I wonder what their first episodes were like. Like we would probably sound, if we ever did this like 5 years from now, which would be crazy.
It
We'd
would.
sound different. Right now we probably sound younger or something because I'm only 21 and Jesse's 22, and we're just young guys, couple of knuckleheads trying to build an empire. Well, I know I am with the future podcast. The mission was to have a glimpse into the future, have interviewers. No, I'll be the interviewer. Viewer, me or a guy named Eric that he's my roommate. Jesse can get on this too if he wants.
Yeah, yeah. Plan to stick around.
The interviewees that I wanted to contact, we're gonna discuss about the future, a glimpse into the future, a look into the future of mainly. Well, at first it was only focusing like business and entrepreneurship and how businesses were gonna run and innovations within those areas, like even how warehouses work, distribution centers, how they work, and how what's going to change with them, the future of that, and fast food restaurants, what's going to be the future of that, humane job environments, like how Google has that creative job environment. It's not just like, oh, your little cubicle vanilla companies up in New York or something. No, it's like they have an artwork right there, an art piece. They have creative individuals talking to each other. I can't Google. I can't really know what they had, but back in the Mac days, when Steve Jobs was building the Mac, he had a separate building, separate little complex where he had his Mac engineers and the whole Mac team, and they had like an atrium of some sort. The book called it an atrium. It's like a hallway, a big large room or a hallway. That they had an atrium where it showed a BMW motorcycle, I believe, from a Steve Jobs motorcycle, a piano, I believe, some video games in that game room, and his famous drink, his famous juice that he drank. I forgot the name of it. Let me see if I can look it up. Steve Jobs' famous uh, favorite juice drink. I don't know. It had that and and maybe some artworks. I'm not sure.
Real quick, when you were talking about the Google and the art pieces, they try to give off this environment to be more creative, to like
Yeah,
inspire you
yeah,
to
that's
do
right.
something big. Like have that vision set in your mind that hey, we can make better things,
Yeah,
create.
yeah, and from traditional vanilla companies like IBM or Oracle or Windows, Microsoft Windows, they didn't have that at the time. They maybe even don't have that. Like, so when you worked at those places and knew about the other places, how hard it was in the other places, like creativity thrived there. So you knew at the place you were working at, like Apple at the time in its glory days, you'd be like, wow, this is different, and you can feel the environment. It's a humane environment, like you actually appreciate it, very appreciated, and it's not a pain in the ass to get your ideas through to the company as IBM in the 1980s, early 1980s.
I actually have experience of going to the Apple campus, the
Oh, you did?
Infinite One Loop. I went a summer 2 years ago for I have a like a secondary level aunt. She was able to get me in, and
Really?
just being in there, it was amazing. It did not feel like your typical 9 to 5 job. There
Yeah,
was no feeling of dread. Everyone there looked
yeah.
like they were enjoying every bit of what they were doing there.
Oh, really? Hold up. What was it called? The Infinite Loop?
Yeah, that was the old campus. The new campus is the space campus, I believe. The new gigantic circle they created.
Infinite Loop Apple. When did their new campus build?
Uh, Last year I think it was finally finished and people moved into it.
What's that called?
I think it's called the space campus. I
Oh, Infinite Loop looks different than what I thought it would be. I thought it would be like a circle campus, not a regular
no,
campus. But did you go on the first floor? I'm looking at the first floor here now.
I was only in the ground level. I wasn't, that you had to have like
Special
a
access,
badge
huh?
to get into anywhere else, and I just made it to like the campus, the food court, and the outside area. It was
Like people wanted to be
very,
there, the workers wanted to be there, or
yeah. No one looked like they
wow.
were suffering. Like they were
Yeah,
like, nah, I
it
don't
was
want to be
genuine.
here.
It was genuine.
Yeah.
Unlike like a McDonald's you go to
Oh
where
yeah, you don't.
it's a totally different vibe. I mean, you don't have the same experience as that. From the inside, you would look at a McDonald's and be like, "Oh, this looks cool and modern and everything," but the workers there don't give off that what do you say, like high energy experience as an Apple Infinite Loop or maybe even their new campus.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
called
was talking
Spaceship. The new campus is called the Spaceship Campus.
the spaceship campus. I like that.
Very
And
Apple-ish right there.
probably even how Pixar works. I believe Pixar is the same way. They have creative environments and maybe even Google too. Like I said, I don't know
And
how they
honestly,
explain
to
that
to
though.
make it to make a career out of that, it's probably like the best thing because you again you don't you want to work there. You want to like
Yeah, you're probably
help
excited to
build the
even go
next big
there.
thing at Apple or Pixar, make the next movie.
Yeah, Pixar helping make the next big thing. Oh, I'm reading more about this Apple Infinite Loop.
Yeah,
They
they have a at least at the old campus they had a humongous Apple store for the public. It was gigantic. It's crazy.
at the Infinite Loop.
Yeah, I
That's so
haven't been
cool.
there since, so I wouldn't know what the new campus has to offer. But I'm sure it's better than the last one. Has to be.
Yeah, how could you downgrade?
Yeah, knowing Apple.
Yeah, knowing Apple, unless you're like you don't know what you're doing. Who downgraded in recent years? I know IBM used to have like a fuck ton of employees, but they still do over 100,000. But they used to be one of the top companies in the world.
Yeah, they were.
IBM was a monster. They were bigger
Wait,
than
they
Apple.
weren't
They
they
used to
top
be.
three? It was the top three, right? Microsoft, IBM, and Apple back then.
No, I'm talking about not even computer systems. No, in the whole world. Out of all the corporations in the world, IBM was one of
Oh,
the
okay,
biggest
I get you, I get
at
you.
one point in the 1980s, 1970s.
All right.
But they fell far from the tree. I mean, Apple's bigger than that.
Oh yeah, Apple's bigger than anyone.
Yeah, Apple used to be intimidated. Steve Jobs used to be intimidated by IBM at first, but then he saw their culture and how it didn't foster creativity and innovation in the way that Apple did at the time
Yeah, 'cause-
under his lead for the Mac. And so he was like, I ain't even worried about this because we're building a product for the consumer, which was the first Macintosh. Revolutionary.
very,
We still feel its effects to this day. Those little click icons that we have. The mouse was introduced. The click icons. Let me get this out the way. These little click icons. What else was introduced? Let's see. They're working on the
was it the first
second.
all-in-one too? Wasn't that from them too? Like everything was behind the monitor in one capsule kind thing.
I don't know. I can't speak on that.
Oh, okay.
All in one. Oh wait, it didn't have a tower, did it?
No,
Wow.
it was one unit, and then obviously your accessories, the mouse and keyboard were attached to it, and of course your power cable, like any other computer.
Whoa, I don't know if it was the first one. I wouldn't be surprised though. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. That would be really amazing. I didn't know. I didn't think of that. I didn't notice that it didn't have a tower. I just saw your text. All right, man. I told you I'm tired, man. He said no, no yawning, little beat. Juju on that beat. I told you I'm tired. I don't know how long this has been going on. I can't see a timer. Now that I think about it, I should have ahead of time. I'll put a timer or anything. How long have you think it's been going on?
I think like 20, 25 minutes.
25 minutes. So I'll put like
Just-
a. I don't know. I was gonna put like a 15-minute timer, but I'm liking this. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, me too. It's actually not as bad or not as intimidating as I thought.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. I'm actually enjoying this. I have a smile on my face. And I'm
Same
looking
here.
forward to
And then
talking
just
about more subjects.
talking about my experiences just takes me back too, because that was quite the experience to have that tour of the Apple
Yeah. Did someone
campus.
tour? Was
It
everyone
wasn't
talk?
much of a tour. We just like went inside and
Yeah.
talked
Your
and talked
entrepreneur.
about how one can get in there, and it's
Oh
quite the
really?
challenge.
Really?
Oh yeah, you gotta have some high level skill,
Oh, for real?
and you gotta prove it to them.
For real?
Yeah, for real. And it's interesting because they don't say like you're a coder. You don't have to have any degrees from school. If you can code really good and show them that,
Yeah.
they honestly don't care where you get the experience from. They'll take you. But coding is very competitive because there's too many people. There's a lot of competition, I meant to
There's
say.
a lot.
And to have your own signature coding is probably a very difficult task, but I'm sure people know how to do that.
Yeah,
And obviously
there's
they
got to
would
be
be
someone.
somewhere at this point if they knew how to do that.
There's got to be someone who's working at Apple who's doing all those things, and future Apple employees who have that potential. But coding's not my thing.
Nah, me either. I'm a hardware side. I like how the pieces work in a computer.
Yeah, but coding is amazing, like how it all just comes together. Like video games. Video games are a prime example.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to finish off on why this podcast is set up and why I started this.
All right, let's go
Um,
ahead.
it's in the name, the Future Podcast. Let's see if I can pull up the name right here. The Future Podcast. That's going to be the whole thing. This is just a pre-alpha series to get everything, get the snowball rolling. And the Future Podcast. That was a nice name. I mean, looking at it now, it's still a very nice name. I love that. The Future Podcast. That sounds powerful. Like if you ever looked it up on Google, you'd be like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
And the way I sent it too, with the little, these aren't apostrophes. The one mark apostrophe around the center. And so this is about a glimpse into the future of how things, especially businesses, are going to work and operate, and how more humane environments, people are wanting that more, instead of like, oh, do this and that, and then your boss just tells you do this and that, and then you got to do it, and with no input or no creative culture cultivating you guys, or no real drive, just, oh, it's a
You're
job.
almost like a human robot. They
Yeah.
give you the command and you do the task
Yeah,
and
now people are
you
wanting,
output the you output the product.
yeah, what's kind of like what you're being told to do, your code that they want to imprint on you. Now people are wanting, I'm not sure now more than ever, but because I can't speak upon how past people felt, unless looking into generations. But now people are seemingly demanding more of these creative types. More, they know that Apples are out there and the Google creative cultures are out there, and they're demanding that more. Google is pushing it, and Apple was pushing it back then, and they got a lot of press for it.
Yeah.
And so when people see that, they're like, why can't we have it here? And so they're
Yeah,
demanding it.
honestly, if every job had that same environment, I think
We live in a better world,
everyone would be in much better states.
in a
Like,
in a better mind state, in a better health, instead of like just living paycheck to paycheck and being at a loss
yeah,
because,
you would
oh,
look
well,
forward to the next day, what it has to offer.
yeah, not being stressed out like,
Not
oh,
like, oh, here we go again tomorrow, same routine.
yeah, same old warehouse bullshit. Because those jobs are tough. Those
Very.
warehouse jobs, shipping and putting the packages in the truck, and that's all you're doing, and the whole day for 8 hours,
But
delivering the
honestly,
product in a box.
in that situation, I don't think you could come up with the creative mind environment. That that's just how that is. You
Yeah,
know, that's the
well,
behind the scenes of like you ordering something and then boom, pops up at your house.
yeah, the thing we can do about that is just put robots into that.
Automate
Let them,
the process.
yeah, automate the process, not have it be manual. Automate the process. But then me saying like, oh, put robots to that. Imagine if robots get smart, like artificial intelligence. And imagine they want robot rights,
Yeah, they
and then
might
they
turn
use
against us.
and then they use this even against us. Like, oh, even Anthony said, let the robots do it. They don't want us to succeed, or they want to be a
Yeah.
slave to humanity. Imagine that. Because
So
right now we just think like, oh, that'll
yeah,
that's
the
not
robots
actually.
will improve our life.
Yeah, let I mean cars. They're not. Are they robots? Are they technically robots? But I know they're machinery. They're machines that we use.
At least, that's actually a very tricky question there. How you said that if cars are considered robots. I don't think so, because it's a form of transportation. Well, that could lend it to robot. Uh, but yeah, it does have a.
It is a
There is
machine.
AI in the automated cars, 'cause they have to, in
Yeah,
real time,
yeah,
see
and
what the
then
changing
it's their
environments
job, it's
are.
their position, not for us, not for entertainment or anything, but to work for us. They're
Yeah,
made to put someone somewhere else, and that's all they're made to do.
from
And
point A to
imagine,
point B.
yeah, and imagine smart robots that probably function like us too, that have bodies like us and a brain, their own artificial intelligent brain. They want more rights, so to speak, and they're tired of seeing like their machine brethren just putting caps on Coca-Cola bottles all day or putting
Yeah,
caps on the toothpaste. Like, how could you do that to us robots? That
it would spark a whole new.
conversation, a whole new,
Yeah, that's a whole new topic on its own. How bad that could get.
yeah, like especially how bad it can get if robots ever turn against us, because that'll be our biggest enemy if robots were to
Yeah,
turn against us, because we would depend so much at that time, we would depend so much on how robots would function, because they can function great now
and
once they're like
they could handle so many
yeah,
things for us.
yeah, and then faster and more automated and scheduled, and we don't need to pay a human. We can just pay for the electricity to keep the robot going, and that's cheaper than paying a human every hour. And imagine you have nuke control with that or missile control with that, and robots are like, wait a minute, humans are not treating us as they should. Like if animals would come together and be like,
Oh yeah.
humans aren't treating us as they should, because we aren't. We totally aren't. If you
No,
ever
we're
see like
not.
big mass agricultural farming, it's pretty shitty out there. I mean, I think a pig, it lives in a cage so small it can't even turn around.
But
Imagine
unfortunately, that is we created that upon ourselves for our
we
fast food
created that,
chains.
and yeah, and yeah,
You
and our
know,
rights
we
didn't
can't
keep up.
we couldn't have our hamburgers or ribs without that, which is the unfortunate side. But
Well, that's we got there. We got to produce all that shit. I say shit, all those products because we did mass farming and mass cultures, and there weren't any laws against it, so we kept on doing it. Like a McDonald's kept on doing it, and we're like, oh, we can do this not only for a cheaper price, but we can actually afford to keep our demand
yeah,
in supply. So then people started ordering more and having more to eat, and so they started eating more, and when you have more kids, we're able to feed them, but they're not. It's not the greatest quality food out there. If you ever tried an actual pig from a farm versus
a
uh,
processed.
yeah, a sausage that you can find in at the Stater Brothers or your local Walmart or whatever grocery store, mass producing grocery store that's near your area. I don't know how it is in the UK or anything for any of our outside viewers that we don't have not yet. And so I'll be sending a link to my friend asked for a link of the podcast because I told him about it, and I'm gonna send him one. I'm gonna give him that. Shout out to Trey. I'm not sure if was supposed to say that. I might hear it from him. Oh well. Yeah, those. What was I getting at? What was before the agricultural farming? Was it
Uh,
the future podcast, and what was it supposed to be?
yeah. Well, we kind of got sidetracked there, didn't we? Oh, we were talking about robots before that.
Oh yeah, the robots.
Oh,
And
like the work environments.
oh yeah, the work environments, how we should improve that, and like we need to cultivate a culture of just high positivity. So if a customer, even like at a fast food restaurants, because that's a ripe market to have that, because Jesse's been through the ringer when it comes to fast food restaurants. Well, he only worked at McDonald's, but that's far enough. That's where you
Yeah.
need to go. At a McDonald's and a Walmart, yeah, it's crazy packed, crazy people, crazy demands, yelling and screaming. I don't know how bad you got it, but you didn't work. You only worked part time, huh?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I would not commit to full time.
Yeah. How were the people who did commit to full time? Were they stressed?
Huh?
How were the people who did commit to full time? Were they stressed?
Yeah. They every time they would walk in, they would not.
They weren't happy.
They weren't looking forward to it.
Damn. And that sucks. And customers can kind of feel that, or even if you try to hide it off, they're like, they know that the workers there aren't giving like super 100%, super happy, super static. Like when you go to a company or a place like Infinite Loop or places or meetings where people like actually want to be there and talk about their product or entrepreneurship or a TEDx talk, like that's a different environment.
Yeah.
Even at a church, you have more of a positive energy. And I know people don't, a lot of people now, especially younger crowd, don't go to churches, but they have more energy than even a McDonald's. Because they have more passion over there than a McDonald's, than the McDonald's employees. Because do the McDonald's employees really give a fuck about McDonald's making money, or oh, we really want to deliver a Big Mac to our customers to feed their fat ass needs? No, I don't think they really care about that. They they really care for money. Like even me applying for a job, it's like, oh, why are you here? Money, or because I wanted to be there. That was Sprouts, but I haven't applied yet to Sprouts, and I'm not sure if I want to because I'm doing a life insurance thing. And so, better, more humane work environments, because that's not only better for the employees and they stick around longer, or maybe not even that. Just not. It's not only better for the employees, and they're not only happier and actually happy to help customers. It's better for the customer. It's better for the consumer, because they're really getting all that the company can provide from the effort of
Right.
every employee there. And so I think having that and having showing big companies that way, that market, that way of leadership will be a huge impact on the industry or change their views, and probably they would want to strive for that. I think they would want to strive for that once they see that that's can not only be successful but very successful.
Yeah.
Like the Mac team, like how Steve Jobs and his crew, like Steve Jobs had high demands, very high
Oh
demands,
yeah.
very stubborn, but he knew how to motivate people. He knew how to keep them going. They wanted to be there. They could have left, but I don't know, for some reason they didn't. And when he left to build Next, he took some people along from the Mac group because they wanted a leadership.
Yeah.
I know he's very hard and tough, but he's an actual leader. He gets shit done. He made he he made the Mac, not totally 100% his creation. Well, his vision, yeah, but he needed those engineers. He needed the coders, the writers to build the programs, to develop the mouse, the keyboard, those icons. He needed the artist for that too as well. So he's a doer, he's a leader, and he leads by example. He made revolutionary products like Macs and iPods and iPhones, and people wanted to work for him. They wanted to work for Apple because he's an actual leader that gets shit done, and they want to be there. Just like Pixar, I bet Pixar has crazy hours and just crazy time there, but they want to be there
Yeah.
because they love animation.
They love what they're doing.
Uh-huh. Even though they have very high standards.
Very, yeah, that's some high level, grade level standards from those companies.
Premium standards. Premium high standards. Even with all that, all the bullshit you can say, they want to be there. They have a passion for what they're doing. Unlike the bullshit you take at a warehouse job where you're doing 200 products in 2 hours. No, even more.
Yeah,
I had to do 500 package pack up 500 items in 2 hours. Like, you know how much money they're making off that, and they're only giving me 11
minimum.
something. That's a slap in the face, and
Yeah,
I'm doing that. I'm putting their products in the wrapper, and I'm wrapping it up, and they're making profit, and they're only paying me 11 something in that in 1 hour, and then 500 products in 2 hours. And you would accept that? You would accept
bless you.
that crap? Oh, thank you, Jesse. You would accept that crap for minimum wage, or even just 50 cents above minimum wage for crap pay, because it is crap pay.
Unfortunately,
For crap standards, for very high standards, for a company that, for something you don't even enjoy to do, like to do, or like look forward to do, or you have a passion of doing. Like, oh, I'm wrapping these oil filters. I'm wrapping these pencils. Like, no, that's just not an option. I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. That's not something like, oh,
yeah,
yeah, people accept high standards and people take their crap for a little bit of money rather than working for a guy who has high standards. But if it's something you actually want to get passionate about, something you want to work on, work with, like on a video game, they have very high standards in the video game industry, very high standards. The only people that are like really working there are people who really appreciate and enjoy making video games, or money hungry people who are in it for just like a quick buck.
yeah.
If they make like, oh, the Adventure Time is super popular right now, let's make a video game on it, and it's like an ass game, like those SpongeBob games. Not all of them were ass. I think there was one that was a good one, but most of them you don't see them hitting like, oh, a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10,
Yeah,
7 out of 10 even. They usually look like quick cash grabs. And so more humane environments. We spend a lot of time on that one topic. Too much time. Humane environments. Better business practices for the consumer and not for the company's wallet. So Apple at the time, when it was going through its period without Steve Jobs, its little hellhole, it was selling a lot of products. So like the little, even the tiniest of keychains or shirts that you'd buy from Apple, it was gaining revenue. But when Steve Jobs came back, he cut all the products. I think they were selling about 20 products at the time. He cut all of them down to four. Four products. Imagine doing that in the company, cutting all the products just for down to four products.
that's it's a risky.
That's very risky. And the board chairman, the board of directors, like the board they call it with all
Yeah,
companies,
it
their
would.
jaws dropped on that one. Like
Yeah,
Steve Jobs did that, and the board allowed it, but still, that's from 20 products to just down to four. And he slashed over 100 projects down to double digits. Hundreds of projects going on at Apple down to double digits. Because it was he said this, the company was losing focus. And he's kind of right on it. If Apple was focusing on selling t-shirts and keychains, and then how much focus do they have on revolutionary products like building a Mac or
it wouldn't.
an
It wouldn't.
iPod?
There wouldn't be enough resources towards to make that a good product. They'd be spread out against too many
And not
products.
only that, Steve Jobs' focus would be on like, oh, how are these keychains doing and whatnot. No, he didn't want to focus on that. He wanted to focus on revolutionary products for the consumer. That's why you had an iPod to begin with. And that's why now you have iPhones dominating the market. And so companies now, I feel like they're just introducing items on the menu and sodas on the menu just because it makes revenue,
Mm-hmm.
not because they're super focused on that. Or there's this, they have this line of the chicken market, Cynthia's Chicken, let's call it, and they're focusing on how good the chicken is. No, they're adding coleslaw and meat and potatoes and biscuits and cookies. Like, how focused are they on the chicken at that point? They're only adding all that other stuff for revenue. They're not too focused on the chicken and how great the chicken product can be, like any spices added, or how you can fry it a better method or a healthier method on frying it, or having a tempura over it, like tempura shrimp, or adding more chicken products rather than a new oatmeal raisin cookie or a new soda flavor. So let's see, how do I word this? Um, Better business practices, like not for not for the revenue, not for the company, but for the consumer. So better focus on their products, not selling this and that, and we got this and we got that, because then they'll lose quite a bit of their focus. And like, why are they in the market anyways? So how to I don't know how to advise on that, how to help on that, how to help stay focused.
Yeah.
This is gonna be about just principles on that. And what else? Maybe like future thinking industries, just future thinking industries. How a glimpse, or what I would like the glimpse of the future to be for not only better businesses, but a better team behind those businesses, a better a better reason, a better motivation, and a better intrinsic value for people doing what they do. Because companies, like, they really only do it for money, and very few companies do it for because they love what they do. They
But
love the product.
a company is supposed to,
Yeah, but it is a business.
yeah,
I'll tell
the
you that.
business. It's got to make a profit. Otherwise, the business will go under, and then we won't be able to enjoy those
Yeah,
products.
if you don't have a profit, you can either be a non-profit, or worse, you can be in the red. So, how long can you build a business if you're not making money? Probably gonna go out of business. So, but you can have a business and build a business and be very successful on things you love. I mean, Michael Jackson was one of them. Is one example. Steve Jobs is another example. I don't think it
Mhm.
was really about the money for him. And I'll reference Steve Jobs a whole lot.
Yeah.
And Pixar is one of them. You don't think they love what they do over there? They have good business practices. I don't know what goes behind the scenes behind Pixar, but it doesn't look like the most shadiest. It doesn't look like they're doing what banks are doing to people, or insurances are doing to people, because that's a whole nother topic. And so, how to build a business but still make money off it and be doing what you love, like musicians at times. They're not trying to go in for a quick cash grab,
Yeah.
because that sucks. That not only hurts the consumer, definitely makes people waste money. Makes people waste money, literally waste money. Like your grandma and grandpa wasting money on stupid shit. You'll be like, man, why did that company do that? Sell a shitty ass, I don't know, fake ass Wii. When you see those fake ass game consoles and like
Yeah.
and I don't know, swap meets in fake ass stores, you'd be like, man, that's just a bootleg Wii. Why are companies doing that? Well, I don't think it's because they absolutely love to get into the console market. No, they want to make a quick buck. And if your grandpa got that, you'd be like, man, grandpa, you got ripped off. Like, you legit got ripped off. Like, I'm not sure if they make those Wii copies anymore. I've seen them though when the Wii was at its prime. That shit was crazy. I thought it was like a different product, but then now as I'm older, I'm like, oh yeah, that's not like a 9 out of 10 product for the money. That's not like a must have. So there was that, and then now, like I said, I gotta get my thoughts together. But I don't know what to say now concerning what the future podcast was supposed to be, is projected to be. It's about the future of industry and businesses, not necessarily the future in general, like how we're gonna get our water, how we're gonna live, self-driving cars, if we're gonna be living in like apartments that are just white and everything's gonna be intelligent, the Internet of Things, not necessarily that, but just on the business side, like from distribution centers to the corporate world, to how that's being run, to the franchises, like a fast food restaurant, how what's inside there, to maybe even marketing, how businesses run, rather than the future in general.
Yeah.
But those are interesting topics to talk about, anyways. The future in general, where's the future heading? Like market crashes and economies, wars, any possible wars.
Throwing a little politics here and there, you know.
Yeah, politics, especially politics. Like, what should we do with social media? How is that gonna affect things? How the generations are growing up? Because Jesse over here saying, man, iGen is fucked. iGen, if anyone who doesn't know, iGen is the generation we're in. Well, 20 young 20-year-olds are in 21, 22, like Jesse and I, respectively, or like the younger kids in high school now, and I think even to middle school. I think the youngest age, I'm not really sure, but to 12 or something. So a 12-year-old now to high school, and in my level, 22, 23, 21. I'm 21. Like, they grew up in the iGen, in the generation of the iPhones and the internet and social media now, and they're less happy than the generations before and less creative. I'm not sure about less creative, but they're getting less sleep, definitely. I gotta see if I have the. Aha, here it is. What the overview of iGen is looking like. Because it's a sad world, less motivated. Like, even Jesse will tell you, like, he thinks they're fucked. Like, less reading, less happiness, less social skills, definitely.
Yeah, because they just want to be on the on the phone like 24/7.
Yeah, want to be distracted with entertainment, instant gratification. They want the Amazon same day shipping, 2 day shipping. They can't wait. They can't. They're less mentally healthy. They're less community, less sleep, less risk, less hopeful, less politically aligned, less emotionally connected. Now that's a very big one. Less emotionally connected.
Yeah.
So they're making like true deep friends, as much as they were, even in past generations, millennials and before. They're less hopeful, less religious, and less spiritual. That's a whole new topic, a whole another topic. But we gotta wrap it up. That's what the future podcast was all about. I still have to get my complete thoughts together and in a more compact way, more hard hitting way.
We also have to figure out the schedule, how we're gonna do these.
Yeah, and how often? Twice in a week or so.
Because I would like to have these more often. This could
Yeah,
be
and I would love,
enjoyable.
and I know it was just me explaining a lot of things, especially towards the end. And I know you're getting tired, Jesse.
Just
From
a
the
little
text.
bit.
And just more impact, more conversation from you and me, so it can be like a 50-50 or 60-40, and not like a 80-20 like it was now, or so, or even more,
Yeah.
90-10. But I had to wanted to explain what this is all about for people getting into it. So welcome everybody, and I hope this is an enjoyable ride, and I hope this ride continues to progress and grow
Yes.
how I want it to grow and be impactful to people. I hope it helps people out and helps people realize important shit that goes on.
We also gotta work on our social media accounts, get those going up for you guys. So you guys we can interact with you guys. Not just on the podcast, but through social media, the usual
Social
works.
media. Yeah, I'm not a social media addict. I'm not
Me
not
either.
social media
But
savvy. I only have a Facebook and Messenger,
if
and
this
the one
empire
that
grows, we will grow on social media with you guys. We'll be more active.
I have to find something because I know people don't. Everyone who has a YouTube account has a Google Hangout. I mean Google Plus, but people don't fuck with Google Plus.
Yeah,
People don't mess
it
with
was a
Google
forced. It's
Plus.
forced.
It's forced, and yeah, like Google right there did not care, and forced. And even people talked about it. Still, Google did not care. Google can do whatever they want with this.
Yeah.
It's sad. It sucks. You get like a bad taste in your mouth when you see that like Google absolutely did not give a fuck what people thought about the forced Google Plus. When that shit first happened, like during the first 3 months, you would see comments, and they were like the most like comments, like, "Oh, we don't want this forced Google Plus," and blah blah blah. But we still have it to this day. They don't care, and I hope they're not like that towards the future on other products on their other
Yeah.
products, because
I don't think so.
That's not good business.
This is just to like
It's because
promote their own social media.
Yeah, I hope if we have like a Google car or anything, they're not like, oh, create your Google Plus account or something. Google Gmail. I hope they don't force that on consumers, because that's not only bad business practice, that's like, that should be illegal or something. Like, oh, you have to force to get our other product to get into this one. That means like companies who want to build their own social media or whatever, they're competing against a giant known as Google. So like with other social medias, you're not forced into getting them, but with this one, if you want a YouTube account, I mean Google forced it on you. So there's like millions of people already just kicked into this, and you think they wanted it? You think they necessarily wanted it? I mean, if they didn't have to, they wouldn't have. They wouldn't have done it otherwise. But with other social medias can't get away with that. Only Google can, and it's like a, I don't know, an unfair move, an unfair advantage. I would say. I don't know how you think about that, Jesse. I don't know if you're half asleep or something.
No, I'm still here. I'm still engaging.
Yeah, that's unfair to smaller companies who don't have the power of Google.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a foothold like Google does, especially with YouTube and Google.com itself, the number 1 and 3rd site in the world consecutively. Wait, no, YouTube. No, backwards. Google's number 1, YouTube's number 3. And for every person who uses YouTube and has an account, they have to go to Google Plus. That's not fair for smaller businesses, because that means Google already has an advantage over it. That's like if Google opened up a Google Shop, let's say, and was like, okay, everybody who has a Google Plus now has to enter an account into Google Shop, into their Google Shop, and then they're trying to compete with Amazon or so. All the other businesses, smaller businesses online, that would be unfair for them. That would be cut out already, just like that. But I guess I gotta think about it more, because to me that doesn't sound fair. Yeah, it just doesn't sound fair or right. Kind of sounds like in a way, not a monopoly, but not as bad as one. Almost as bad as a monopoly. Alright, but this is gonna end, and we're gonna close it off. Cut it here. So suddenly, like that, like lightning, yeah. Because I know we're both tired, and this has been going on for quite a while. So that was episode 1, and Jesse,
Yes.
say goodbye to our audience.
I hope we can continue this with you guys. Expand, grow as a community. And we look forward to seeing you guys again in the next episode.
In the next installment, or when you guys ever come. And so yeah, goodbye guys. I hope you guys enjoy your week. I don't know.
Have a good week. Have a good night. Whatever it is in your time.
In your time, whenever you're watching this. And this is
We'll
the
see you
close
next
off.
one.
That's the first close off in the future podcast. Pre-alpha episode 1. So peace.
Peace.